Hello everybody and welcome. It's Julia here with the third instalment of my Learn Tarot Cards series. Today we're going to look at the High Priestess. It'll be the same format as before. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the High Priestess. We'll look at some of the cards from my tarot decks here, and then I will give you some questions that you can use for self-reflection and to aid your own personal growth. So, thank you for being here, by the way. I'm really grateful and appreciative to all my subscribers. All the thumbs up that I get it's wonderful, so thank you very much. So, we've got the High Priestess here. This is the traditional Rider-Waite High Priestess. She's number 2 in the deck, which is the number of duality. She is associated with the moon, with Isis, and with the goddess within. But she's also actually an androgynous archetype in many ways that represents the universal principle of inner resourcefulness, because she has yin, which is soft and receptive energy, but she also has yang, which is strong and assertive energy, and that's seen here with the duality of the pillars, the black and white pillars to either side of her. The balance of these energies will determine the level this archetype operates within your psyche. This is a card of knowledge, of instinctual, supernatural or secret knowledge. The crown on her head, as well as the crescent moon by her feet, indicates her willingness to illuminate what you otherwise might not see. She can lead you through the darkest parts of yourself or life out to the other side. She sits between the pillars of light and dark, the wax and the wane. She can reveal the secrets of your unconscious to help you make a decision about any problem. This card symbolises the tarot reader, a person of psychic powers or intuition. It can represent yourself or another. In women, it can be a cold or unpredictable, moody personality. But as I've read in some of my tarot books, she alone has visited the land of the dead and returned. So in her higher realms, this card refers to the inner journey, a return to oneself, self-trust, wisdom, esoteric knowledge, spiritual insight, sound judgment, the ability to teach others, higher education, enlightenment, the ability to sublimate your sex drives into a tool for self-development and self-actualization. In its lower realms, it's ignorance, short-sightedness, selfishness, a tendency to avoid emotional entanglement for fear of intimacy. So, there we go. And as before, I've got all my tarot cards out here, and we'll have a look at them and see the differences within the imagery here. Although I have to say, to be honest, this is a card where the imagery seems to be kind of in alignment throughout, really. But so, as I said, we've got the traditional Rider-Waite here. I hope you can see that without the glare. She sits with her crescent moon on her head. The crescent moon represents enlightenment, intuition, the ability to illuminate things, the ability to see things. She sits between the pillars of light and dark. This is to do with the duality of her nature, the yin and the yang. I think there's pomegranates behind her. Pomegranates represent fertility, but also wisdom, I believe. And it's ringing a little bell in my head, something to do with passing and death also. So yeah. I also have the tarot of the New Vision here, and this looks at that High Priestess from a slightly different angle, from behind. And from behind we can see that she's looking out to the waters, out to the moon, the elements that represent her. She has these ladies like nuns behind her, the duality of the nuns in their different coloured habits alongside the pillars. She also has an owl here, and I think the owl is a symbol for wisdom. I think it's something to do with Athena, the goddess of wisdom. I think also the owl is something, a guardian of the Acropolis, perhaps, as well. Something to do with an omen to do with death, perhaps, as well. And I think the owl is stood on a pomegranate. So again, this association with fertility, but also wisdom. So we have Melisandre as the High Priestess in the Game of Thrones deck, and she is a very, well, she's a High Priestess in the fullest sense of the word, isn't she, really? She really has, I think she's encompassed both the higher and lower realms of the High Priestess throughout her journey in Game of Thrones. I think what I said earlier, that she alone has visited the land of the dead and returned, and I think that she's a High Priestess that very definitely has done this, and she's not the same. So yeah, and you could see within her very much the yin and the yang as well, because she was able to be very strong and assertive, to get the things done that she wanted to do. There was a real duality about Melisandre. I think she wanted to be good, but seemed to be driven by other forces, really. We have here the Anarchy deck, which is a kind of sort of non-religious. I think it's quite a nice deck. It's an emotional deck where you can see usually quite easily the emotions of the characters in the cards. This is quite a traditional representation of the High Priestess. She's associated with the cycles of the moon. And her willingness to explore the shadow aspects of her own psyche. This is the Visconti Sforza, High Priestess. I find it really difficult to really engage with this character here, because she's nothing that a High Priestess that I would recognise, really. She's almost got a nun's habit on, hasn't she, in this sort of weird sort of crown on her head. I don't even know what to call that. I'm going to have a quick little look in the book, actually. Let's have a look. So I don't really know what to make of her. So it says, the figure of the High Priestess is seated upon a gold bench. She's draped in a brown monastic cloak and wears a tiara over the white wimple on her head. In her right hand, she holds a thin scepter topped with a cross, and in her left and balanced upon her knee is a sacred book. In the bottom corners of the card are floral patterns on grass. Wow. So there's a much more Christian representation of the High Priestess in this card, isn't there? which I suppose would be fitting for that time. This is the Psychic Tarot deck. Slightly different take on the Rider-Waite, but still the same kind of energies, the same kind of feeling. This is a kind of unlocking, opening of doors in the mind, shining light into dark places, travelling with your mind, seeking to understand, revealing the secrets of your unconscious. I think a similar thing is going on here, isn't it, in the Lightseers Tarot. Again, there's this crescent moon which reflects intuition and wisdom and the desire to illuminate and understand, this connection to spirit, the third eye and the crown chakra energy there, the inner reflection, the stillness. Yeah. With my Mystical Cats Tarot, we have a gorgeous cat here sat in an amethyst cave, and what a fantastic place for a High Priestess. I always have some amethyst around, lots of bits of amethyst. It's a fantastic crystal for people trying to use their psychic abilities. So, again, a slightly different take on the High Priestess, but still the same kind of message, really. Because a cave, I guess, would also represent your inner self, wouldn't it? It would represent the journey inwards, the journey to yourself. And the last card here is from my Osho Zen deck. Sorry, I'm getting a glare on these cards. I hope you can see that. Which says Inner Voice. And again, this is a card with crescent moons, with water, with yin and with yang. Still the very same messages here, isn't it? A card of knowledge, a willingness to illuminate and to understand, a willingness to self-reflect, a willingness to take the path of the dark night of the soul in many ways. She can help you to reveal the secrets of your unconscious and help you to make decisions about problems. So, as I said, the inner journey, a return to oneself, esoteric knowledge, insight, enlightenment, and self-development. So, some words, some sentences, some questions actually, some words. Some questions that might be relevant to ask yourself if you wanted to sit and meditate or reflect upon the energy of the High Priestess. Might be such things as, what rhythms or cycles in yourself or your life do you need to be aware of? These are the things, you know, the patterns, the cycles, the things that we all do to one extent or another, but things that may no longer serve you, may no longer be for your higher good, those kind of rhythms and cycles. What knowledge are you seeking? What do you want to know? What might you be concealing or hiding from yourself or others? So that's about what persona, what face you might be presenting to the world and to yourself, actually. How does your inner voice speak to you? Because our intuition speaks to us all in different ways. For some of us, it can be more of a bodily sensation, a feeling. Some people get pictures, smells, sounds, memories, flashes of all kinds of things, sensations, noticing of synchronicities. Do you have a regular reflective practice? So that might be something like keeping a journal, writing down your thoughts, meditating, praying. There's all sorts of ways to have a reflective practice. And lastly, how may your wisdom be of service to others? And whose guidance do you seek for yourself, and why? So there we go. I hope that that was helpful. Yeah, and I'll see you next time for the Empress. So thank you for watching and take care, and I'll see you next time.